The final film in the Resident Evil saga. Let's pray that's true. Resident Evil The Final Chapter is supposedly the last film in the Resident Evil franchise, and this is the continuation of the story of Alice, played by Milla Jovovich, as she goes on her journey to try to defeat Wesker and Umbrella. And just like every other film in this franchise, she gets a new group of people to tag along with her, but don't really matter at all. Now, if I said I found Milla Jovovich to be unattractive, I would be lying. But let's call it like it is. The movies inside of this franchise are just abysmal. Between the attempts at acting and the action that is obviously done on strings, and the lack of a story, these films aren't really easy to watch. Look, if you like the Resident Evil films, more power to you. Movies are supposed to be fun. But me personally, I could never get into it. And Resident Evil The Final Chapter is another example as to why. Starting out with the acting, if I can call it acting, Milla Jovovich and every other person that she is grouped with in this film is just as wooden as they have been in every other film in this franchise. There's a scene where Milla Jovovich gets her hand broken, and the way she reacted was like she got pinched on the cheek, not like she had her wrist broken. Which is a good segue for the action sequences. The way this movie was shot and the way the action scenes were cut together, it made me want to throw up. Unlike John Wick or Mission Impossible or 100 other better action movies, the way the action is shot in this movie, number one, it has way too many jump cuts, and number two, there is so much shaky cam that you can't even tell what is going on. There were a couple of times where I actually started to count the amount of cuts they put in these action scenes. Once, within a 30-second period, I counted 35 cuts, and that's not good. If you want the action to be good, steady it up and expand it so I don't feel like I'm throwing up while I'm trying to watch the movie. And as far as I'm concerned, there wasn't really any story to go off of. The jump cuts and the shaky cam kinda threw me off of that. This movie reminded me of Transformers Age of Extinction. Just a lot of convoluted nonsense thrown at the screen for the sake of trying to entertain the audience. If you're someone who has loved the Resident Evil franchise from the very beginning, or someone who likes movies like Transformers Age of Extinction, you should get a lot of fun out of Resident Evil The Final Chapter. It's more or less what you're used to. But as for me personally, I can't recommend anybody go see this movie. And Resident Evil The Final Chapter, stay in your shorts. Funny as it is, considering this is a Resident Evil movie, it's right on par with everything else. But as always, it's not what I say, but what you say that matters. So, what is your favorite apocalyptic film? Seems pretty relevant since this is a Resident Evil film. Whatever it may be, leave a comment down below telling me your thoughts. And if you like what I had to say, and you want to see more, click right there and subscribe and become part of the fray of nerds who love cinema. You all have a fantastic day.